Merry Christmas, everyone. Got a connection challenge for you today, and you're probably wondering how I'm sitting on my roof with a bunch of reindeer in a sleigh. I'm gonna tell that story in this video and share how I got here. Sometimes life, you never know how you're gonna end up in a place, and a lot of times we don't move forward. We get stuck because we only think big picture. We think like, oh, I want to start a new business, or I want to go run a marathon, or I want to go do something big. I want to go on this trip, but it's too hard to get there. Like, we just think like the end result instead of just taking a step in a direction and seeing kind of what happens with it and how it ends up. So 10 years ago, I was sitting at a random table at some event, and I'm talking to this guy. I'm like 28, 29 years old, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and I was like trying to kind of figure it out, and he said the best advice I think I've ever gotten, and I can't remember what the guy looks like. I don't know his name. I remember the table I was sitting at, but he looks at me and he goes, take 3 hours a week and do 1 or 2, 3 things that you love and see what happens with it. Just 3 hours a week. You don't have to go huge. You don't have to do anything big. So I'm like, oh, I love to teach people and I love to cook. So what did I do? I asked a 32-year-old limo driver, a 37-year-old hairstylist in Scottsdale, and a 50-year-old mom. And I said, hey, come over for dinner on Monday night and I will cook you dinner and we'll go through a book. And so that's what we did. And nothing fancy for a while. Well, next thing you know, over time, more and more people started to show up. And next thing you know, I got like 20, 25 people at my house every Monday for this study and for cooking a good meal. So I really learned how to cook, learned how to teach, and so many good things happened. Met a ton of friends. I connected with new people. And then that stopped after a while because I lost my voice for 6 months. That's a whole nother story for another time. But then I started up again a couple years later where I didn't do any teaching, I just cooked. And so we just would hang out on a Sunday night, and I'd cook, and we'd just have a meal and hang out together. And so then over time, same thing that happened, started growing, 20, 25 people. I guess when you give away food or you cook good food, that people will come. There's something about food that just brings people together that's powerful. So started doing that, and then people started calling it the Woohoo, which, interesting name for an event, but that's how it happened. That's another story. So then next thing you know, like, I got too many people in my condo, and so I had to get a house to hold all these people. And then I got to make a house for entertaining. And then I get to, then all these other things came out of when you take going to a new season and try something new. And so I got to help design a house and do all this stuff that came from that cool advice. So now I got Santa and his reindeer on the roof, and my mom's had this sleigh for like 30 years, and it's just really funny that after 30 years it ended up on my roof. But it's brought joy to a lot of people. It's another side note. I always thought Christmas lights, it was kind of like, but it actually brings joy to a lot of people. It lights things up. People enjoy looking at Christmas lights for the most part. So I've been loving that. So the connection challenge of the week is, what can you do for 3 hours a week that you're passionate about, that makes you come alive, and see what happens with it over time. And I never thought 10 years later I'd have a house where I was having parties for a bunch of people, from this little 3 hours a week, having 3 people over, teaching a study and cooking. So you don't know what's gonna happen out of that 3 hours a week. So hopefully this helps you connect, and it helped me connect with a ton of new people. I met a ton of new friends through this experience. So if it's something like, I talked to a guy last night and he loves finances and he just wants to have a open conversation about finances that's not a hostile environment. And so I was like, well, just grab 4 people and just have a Q&A at your house and have some snacks and see what happens with it. Like, you don't know where things are gonna happen, and I'm living proof of that. So hope you live alive this week. If you want to subscribe to my channel, click subscribe. Merry Christmas. Santa's just having a good time back there with his reindeer, and have a great day.